I never believed in ghosts or intruders who could slip through locked doors like smoke. My apartment was on the third floor of an old brick building in the city, the kind where the walls creaked like they were whispering secrets. I'd installed the security cameras 6 months ago after a string of petty thefts in the neighborhood. Nothing major, just bikes stolen from lobbies and packages snatched from doorsteps. It was a cheap model, mounted on the ceiling above my bed, wired to my phone app. Motion-activated, night vision green, it captured everything in crisp, unforgiving detail. I checked the footage once a week, more out of habit than fear, and it always showed the same thing. Me, tossing in sweat-damp sheets, the room empty except for the hum of the AC unit. That changed on a Tuesday. I come home late from my shift at the coffee shop, bones aching from hauling trays of overpriced lattes. The app pinged as I kicked off my shoes. Unusual, since it only alerted for movement when I was away. I dismissed it at first, figuring a stray moth or the neighbor's cat brushing the fire escape. But curiosity gnawed at me. Propped against the kitchen counter with a lukewarm beer, I pulled up the clip. Timestamp 2:17 nachts. The video started with me asleep, curled on my side, the blanket twisted around my waist. Then, a flicker. The door to my bedroom eased open, silent as a hell breath. No creak from the hinges, which I'd oiled myself last month. A shadow detached from the hallway, tall and unnaturally still, stepping into the frame. My heart stuttered. It was a person, a silhouette, really dressed in dark clothes that blended with the night. They moved with purpose, crossing the 5 feet to my bed in 3 deliberate steps. The camera caught the outline, broad shoulders, head tilted slightly like they were studying me. They stopped at the edge of the mattress, inches from my exposed face. I watched, frozen on the stool, as the figure loomed there for exactly 90 seconds. Not touching, not breathing loud enough for the mic to pick up, just standing, watching. My sleeping self didn't stir, didn't sense the weight of eyes boring into my skull. Then, as quietly as they'd arrived, they turned and glided out, the door clicking shut behind them. I replayed it 10 times, zooming in on the blur of a face hidden under a hood. No features, no skin tone, just void. I told myself it was a dream, a glitch in the feed. But the timestamp matched my phone's alarm clock. I double-locked the door that night and slept with the lights on, the camera's red blink my only companion. By Thursday, the unease had rooted deep. I avoided the bedroom during the day, working on my laptop in the living room, curtains drawn against the streetlights. The app stayed silent until midnight. Another ping. This time, I didn't wait for morning. Heart pounding like a drum in my chest. I hit play right there on the couch. 1:45 nachts. Door opens. Shadow enters. Same height, same tilt of the head. But closer now, the figure leaned in, one hand hovering over my pillow, fingers splayed like claws testing the air. I could almost feel the chill from it, even through the screen. They lingered longer this time, 2 minutes and 12 seconds, before retreating. In the zoom, I swore I saw a glint. Eyes? Teeth? Something reflective, catching the faint glow from the window. Panic clawed at my throat. I grabbed my phone and scrolled through old footage, frantic. Last week? Nothing. The week before? Empty room. But going back further to the installation day, there, a single frame, blurred by setup dust, but unmistakable. The figure at the foot of the bed, arms loose at sides. I didn't sleep. Instead, I paced the tiny apartment, phone clutched like a weapon. Who could this be? The super, a disgruntled customer from the shop. Some creep from the building? The lease was in my name only. No X's, no shared keys. I considered calling the cops, but what would I say? A ghost visited me on video? They'd laugh, or worse, show up and scare me more with their flashlights and questions. By dawn, I'd barricaded the bedroom door with my dresser, the camera's feed live streaming to my tablet. I crashed on the couch, eyes gritty, willing the night to pass without incident. Friday blurred into a haze of caffeine and paranoia. At work, every customer who lingered too long made my skin crawl. The barista with the hooded sweatshirt? The delivery guy who knew my order by heart? I cut my shift short, raced home, and tore through the app settings. I cranked the sensitivity, added audio amplification, even propped a glass against the door for makeshift vibration alerts. Dusk fell like a shroud, the city noise fading to a distant roar. I ate dinner standing up, fork trembling, then retreated to the living room fortress. Chairs stacked, blinds sealed. The tablet glowed on the coffee table, feed steady. Me, dozing fitfully under a throw blanket, the bedroom a green-tinted tomb. The ping came at 11:58 p.m. Early. Too early. I bolted upright, snatching the tablet. The door didn't open this time. It simply shifted. The knob turned from the inside, as if the room itself exhaled. The figure emerged from the corner, materializing where the shadows pooled thickest by the closet. No footsteps, no sound of fabric rustling. Just there, taller now, or maybe the angle made it seem so. It approached the bed with a sway, like wind through tall grass, and stopped. Leaned. The hand extended fully this time, palm down, inches from my forehead. The audio crackled, faint like static on an old radio, but underneath a whisper, my name? I cranked the volume, breath held, and there it was, a low murmur, words lost in hiss. The figure's hood slipped back a fraction, revealing not a face, but a suggestion. Pale skin stretched too tight, eyes like black pits swallowing light. For minutes it stood, for 4 agonizing minutes, the hand descending until fingertips brushed the hair at my temple. On the live feed, my sleeping body twitched, once as if dreaming of drowning. I screamed not loud, but enough to shatter the silence. The figure snapped upright, head whipping toward the camera. For a split second, those pits locked on the lens, on me, watching from across the room. Then it dissolved, not walked away, but unraveled, edges fraying into the dark like ink in water, sucked back into the closet's maw. The door stayed shut. I didn't move for an hour, tablet clutched to my chest, pulse thundering in my ears. When I finally crept to the bedroom, flashlight beam shaking, the dresser was untouched, the floor bare. But the air felt heavier, laced with something metallic like blood or rust. Saturday, I packed a bag. Hotels, friends, anywhere but here. But as I zipped the duffel, the app chimed again. Daytime sunlight streamed through cracks in the blinds, banishing shadows. Yet the feed showed my empty bed, and the figure, bold as brass, perched on the edge. Waiting, hood thrown back fully now, revealing a face I almost recognized. Hollow cheeks, stringy hair, eyes that weren't eyes but mirrors, reflecting my own terror back at me. It turned slowly toward the camera, lips curling in a smile that split too wide, teeth glinting like shattered glass. Soon, the audio whispered clear as day. My voice, my own voice, stolen and twisted. I ran, down the stairs, out into the street, bag banging against my hip. The city swallowed me, horns blaring, crowds shoving. But in my pocket, the phone vibrated, not a ping, but a call. Unknown number. I answered without thinking, breath ragged. Silence first, then that murmur, echoing from the speaker, every night, until you see. I hurled the phone into traffic, watched a cab crush it under tires. Safe, I thought, hailing a ride to my sister's across town. The driver glanced in the rear view, eyes lingering too long. Hooded sweatshirt. I turned off the laptop, lights out, burrowed under covers. Sleep came in fits, dreams of doors opening inward. At 2:17 a.m., a creak from the hallway. Soft footsteps. The weight of someone standing over the bed, breath cold on my neck. I didn't open my eyes. I didn't need to. The camera wasn't here to record this time. But I knew. Every night, until I become it.